to discuss the issue of Sheikh Abdul Rahman Hassan's podcast, Hot Seat podcast on football, and the response that it has received from people, particularly Muhammad Hijab. And then some of the questions that people have asked me in the process. I have a few things to say about the subject matter, so bear with me because this is important also. I know this is not exactly part of the tafsir, but hey, it's related to this issue. Ya akhwan, we need to understand a number of topics. The first of which is people have levels of knowledge. People, when it comes to knowledge, يرفع الله الذين آمنوا منكم والذين أوتوا العلم درجات. Allah Azza wa Jal raises those who believe among you. يرفع الله الذين آمنوا منكم والذين أوتوا العلم. Those who have been given knowledge in degrees. People are not at the same level. Sometimes when someone is so knowledgeable and they speak, the actual subject goes right over the heads of the listeners who perceive it to be outlandish or crazy because they themselves don't understand what's going on. The issue, for the most part, could be in the recipient, not in the person making the delivery. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, you don't have to go far. Go listen, read the Quran from cover to cover. You will find that the entire Quran is telling you a similar story. The prophets would come to their people and tell them, La ilaha illallah. And they said, أَجَعَلَ الْآلِهَةَ إِلَهًا وَاحِدٍ إِنَّ هَذَا لَشَيْءٌ عُجَابٌ. He has made the many gods one God. This is something crazy. This is what is this? What is this prophet saying? And you know, شاعر مجنون. Are we going to leave our gods? وَقَالُوا لَا تَذَرُنَّ آلِهَتَكُمْ وَلَا تَذَرُنَّ وَدًّا وَلَا سُوَاعًا وَلَا يَغُوثَ وَيَعُوقَ وَنَسْرًا. And they were fighting, don't leave your gods and all this. What? They were calling in Tawheed. The people their minds couldn't grasp what are the prophets talking about. So when someone of knowledge says something that you don't understand, please do yourself a favor and hold back and let it marinate before you open your mouth or before you get shocked. Oh, football is haram. No, how could I play football in my life? I've never heard someone say this. The fact that you've been doing it your whole life, or the fact that you haven't heard anyone speak about it in the English world, does not mean anything. It just means that you're unaware of the world. It just means that you have a lot to catch up to, because it's been discussed among the ulama and the scholars in Arabic. Their books have been authored about this for years. For years they've been speaking about Qurat al-Qadam. So what I'm trying to say is, personally, everybody who knows me knows I play football. I play football and I watch football. I will definitely have to reflect on the podcast. I've heard almost half of it now, and I'm trying to finish the rest of it. I have to reflect on it sincerely, and might agree or might disagree, which is fine. But we have to understand that what is being said has foundations and bases within the religion. There could be some gaps, there could be some missing links, there could be some detachment from reality because of the nature of the Talib al-Ilm's lifestyle is not like everybody else. That's why I don't even label myself as a Talib Ilm. You understand? I put myself at a level below that because I see myself as a motivational da'i who's trying to also, motivate people on many aspects, in many different realms, that of knowledge, that of da'wah, that of sports, that of athleticism, that of, raising children. I'm trying to be all over the place. And so I don't even qualify as a talib ilm. The real tulab ilm, the real ulama have a different lifestyle, I would say. I'm not saying that means by default that they're out of shape and they're not working out. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they see things from a different lens as the rest of us. So we need to respect them at all times. If we hear something from a scholar that we can't wrap our head around, we need to hold back on saying statements that are not appropriate. So, ya Muhammad Hijab, ya Habibi, to be using Brother Hajji's terminology now because y'all connected in some way, and now the diabolical, what is it? The diabolical statement became now the trend. Now, every time a Muslim speaks, he becomes a shaitan and a manifestation of the shaitan, and his opinions is satanic. diabolic statement, diabolic opinions, diabolic madri ish, ya ya Hajj. But the brother, if he's able to speak about Sheikh Albani a certain way, then of course he's going to speak about Abdul Rahman Hassan a certain way. But ya akhwan, that is not how we're supposed to deal with people of knowledge. Unless the person is a mubtadi', mahruq, muhtariq, calling the people to innovation, calling them to the gates of the hellfire. Which ironically, those people, you give them the utmost respect. Yasir Qadi has more degrees than a thermometer, mashallah, tabarakallah, who's calling people to Jahannam straight up at this point in his career. That deserves the respect. And Sheikh Abdul Rahman Hassan is diabolic because he said that football has issues, which none of us can deny. The issues none of us can deny. You might disagree with a few of them, but overall, there's so many things you cannot avoid. And mind you, somebody asked me before the podcast about their ruling, and I said we could watch football as long as you're able to avoid looking at the awra and looking at the women, and if there's any music you don't listen, and if it doesn't distract you from salah. I'm still of the opinion that you watch football, but I've always made the statement that I am not going to be a fan of any disbeliever on planet Earth. If Ronaldo or Messi, like I said the other day, if they beg me to shake hands with them, I say yalla amshi wala روح عند بيت أمك. I'm not looking at anybody who's a disbeliever as something to be excited about, nor do I care about any country per se, to my national team or madri ish, let alone if it's there's a cross on the flag. They can all go to hell as far as I'm concerned. If you're able to conduct yourself in this manner, maybe watching football is not a big deal because you're not getting crazy about it, nor are you fighting with Muslims and hating Muslims and liking and loving the disbelievers. But the reality on the ground is most of the people do have an issue. And the Shaykh comes and says some words of wisdom. So now we go into, say, oh, this and this is bad for Salafiyya or Badri Ish. La, ya akhwan, la. Bismillah. If you don't understand, then you have a problem. You can't take a 2-hour, ya Muhammad Hijab, ya Habibi, ya Ghali, ya Ghali, ant, ya Tajrasi. You can't take a 2-hour podcast and take literally a couple of statements here and there, and then make a commentary on them while just chilling on the couch, and then make the Sheikh seem like he's completely from a different universe. Go and read the fatwa that have been discussed on this issue. But the problem is, because we want to rationalize everything, we want to make sense out of everything, we want to impose logic and how to reason about everything, we wind up directly or indirectly dismissing the Quran and the Sunnah and the fundamentals and the usul al-Din. And maqasid al-Sharia are being set aside because, ya akhi, come on, football, man. No, you can't. Football, no. You could say anything you want about anything in this door, but football don't cross that line. Because football, come on. It's the same rationale that, what's his name, that singer had, Sami Yusuf, whatever. When they asked him on CNN music, he said, music? No, music transcends all religions. It transcends everything. There could be nothing in the religion that can make it haram. It's the same line of thinking. Like, music it touches the soul, man. Music, it helps you get by. Music. So how are you telling me it's haram? And now we're going to say the same thing about football. I am not discussing whether the Sheikh's opinion is sound or not. I'm trying to say we need to show respect to the people of knowledge. And we need to show respect to the textual evidences from the Quran and the Sunnah. And when we disagree respectfully, provided that the person who we're disagreeing with is a person of Sunnah. If he's an innovator, then you know how we roll. You know how I roll. You go ahead, knock yourself out. Because you're supposed to make him detestable to the people. But the way it is being done right now, wallahi, is unacceptable. So I advise everybody, before you take sides and before you start tripping, especially Muhammad Hijab fans, subhanallah, you guys got issues, man. Man, y'all got issues. You need to slow your roll, man. You need to slow down. You get so hyped up and excited. You go and you're talking all this smack in the comment section on the video. Yeah, akhi, hold back before you held accountable before Allah. The Shaykh has given you evidences as to why there are issues in the subject matter. You cannot just ignore them because you don't feel that this is the right position to be held. If you want to disagree, you have to disagree with the Quran and the Sunnah. And you have to disagree from the Quran and the Sunnah with the understanding of the Salaf. And you have to provide multiple evidences for that. Not just some hadith you mentioned out of context, which you remembered or you looked up on Google just before you made a video. And now this becomes the hujjah. It becomes the hujjah that we have to abide by, and you're going to dismiss all the other evidences that are being mentioned? No. So remember, Allah Azza wa Jal is aware of all these details. And remember that we've always said, Ya Jama'ah, no one is infallible. That's what Salafiyya is. The way of the Salaf is that we don't follow anybody blindly. Not Shaykh bin Baz, rahimahullah, not bin Uthaymeen, not Albani, not Ibn Taymiyyah, not Muhammad Abdul Wahhab. No one is infallible. No one made no mistakes. The biggest student of knowledge, the biggest Shaykh, or the smallest one, they will make mistakes. When they make mistakes, we have a way to deal with it, and we keep moving. We show the due respect. No, they are getting rewarded by Allah. Because if he exerts himself فأخطأ, and he made a mistake, he will still have an ajr from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So and what he's saying has been said before. It's not like Shaykh Abdul Rahman Hassan came up with this on his own. This has been preceded by many. Books have been authored. Was it Shaykh Al-Halabi who has a book called Qurat al-Qadam Bayn al-Halal wal-Haram wa Bayn al-Masalih wal-Mafasid? I don't remember the title right now. This is something that has been addressed. I know there's fatwa on Islam QA on the subject as well. So it's not the first time someone speaks about it. Please, once again, and Ya Muhammad, Ya Habibi, when you want to go, Ya Akhi, when you have an issue with someone, ma'lesh, ya brother, select the appropriate terminology, bro. You know, this is more than once now that you've had issues with someone, and Ya Akhi, you too much, wallahi too much. You talk about hurting the da'wah, but that hurts the da'wah as well. Yani if what we're doing hurts the da'wah, what you're doing is hurting the da'wah, then we all have to make a rectification. If we're doing something wrong, we need to be corrected. And if you're doing something wrong, you also need to be corrected. And it's now too much. It's reached the point where it's too much. Every time we disagree with someone, the issue of Albani with the nursing of the, al-kabir, irda' al-kabir, this was a major blunder. Major violation, ya akhi. And what happened with Brother Sajid, and then what's happening right now? Because I don't know what this beef is about. Because we don't see eye to eye, because we don't think philosophy is a suitable way to give da'wah. What's the issue? It doesn't allow, and it shouldn't reach this point where now we're attacking the da'wah of Muhammad Abdul Wahhab. He became now a criminal, ISIS, madri ish. La, this is like an agenda right now. There's this consistency, the consistent message you're hearing from multiple people who also happen to collaborate. All of them are targeting the da'wah of Tawheed. Tawheed is the target now. Subhanallah al-Azim. And which side do you want to be on? We got to reflect about our realities, guys.